Open mine eyes that I may see glimpses of truth thou hast for me.
Hello, everyone.
Hi. Hello. Hi, Stacy.
I'm Stacy Randell, Shaheen. And before I read from the book, I just want to take one moment to think about 5 words that I heard at Rosemary's services yesterday that are forever here, which are, we must save the babies. So I just want to take a moment for us to think about all the babies, the children, teenagers, adults, and elders all over the world who are victims and survivors of political, gender, economic, and environmental injustice, past, present, and unfortunately future. Thank you. What we helped create over 3 decades was extraordinary. Wellspring House succeeded and multiplied far beyond what we could ever have imagined, not just because of us. Wellspring was able to capture the dreams of so many people from all walks of life in the region where we lived. It left a legacy in the many community projects it helped create that are still thriving. It is a model that can be replicated still today. There is a dream that persists in human consciousness of people living together in companionship and trust, each person committed to the common good. It is a longing that lies behind all the social or religious experiments in history, large and small. The same dream that inspired us has empowered movements of protest and reform, such as the Civil Rights Movement, and even something as huge as the United Nations. In each case, people come together, breaking the barriers they inherited to seek justice and compassion. That is the dream we followed and still believe in. However, we all live in a society that has allowed ever larger inequalities and injustice to flourish unquestioned. Nationally, homelessness is just as persistent and intractable problem as it was in the 1980s. We don't have enough affordable housing, largely because we've never put the right public and private investments in place to create it, nor have we named housing a right. Our broken immigration system has failed both our own citizens and the increasing number of immigrants and desperate refugees fleeing war, violence, and weather disasters, adding to the number of people in dire need of compassion and hospitality. The wealth gap that alarmed us then has gapped ever wider, threatening to obliterate our middle class and splitting our society into haves and have-nots. At the same time, we see people all over the world rejecting the falsity that this is normal, joining their hands and hearts to protest movements and recognizing that there is really one cause to fight for, the cause of justice. Even as the powers of neo-fascism and racism try to define our future, that cause has galvanized all kinds of people of different classes, nations, and races, old and young, even school children, affirming that they don't want the old normal at any price. They don't believe in the hierarchies of power that have lied to them and robbed them. They will need to learn, as we did, to make decisions together rather than from the top down, which isn't easy, as anyone who has ever tried it can attest. Our goals can never be reached by the methods that actually cause the evils against which we are fighting. Top-down, power-over structures are designed to keep the power in the hands of the already powerful, as we have seen so often when liberators evolve into dictators. We were countering a powerful dominant culture and a powerful business model that rules even what nonprofits can do. Power, of course, concedes nothing without struggle. Evicting those who are trying to change the rules is the rule. But such evictions leave fractals with knowledge of a different way, and those will take root. To challenge power over, we have to demonstrate the effectiveness of power with, by creating communities of hospitality, places, and cultures that welcome and include. That is what Wellspring House did. Other communities have done it as well, and we need more of them. This book is called Radical Hospitality, two essential words. Radical comes from the Latin word for rooted. Hospitality comes from a Latin word that means both host and guest, or even stranger. To practice hospitality, we aren't just inviting friends to dinner or to come for the weekend. We are making our life decisions in the place where we live, rooted in an attitude of openness. Such hospitality is about saying, come in, not only to people and ideas we know and feel comfortable with, but to strangers and even strange ideas. That isn't always comfortable or even safe. The story of Wellspring is a story of hospitality, its beauty, and its dangers, its healing power, but also its fragility. It is a story of how a group of determined people who tapped into their whole spiritual selves to create a public-facing organization that uncapped a wellspring of energy, common purpose, and generosity in a local context, and how that became a magnet for others to tap even more springs. We believe that this story is particularly relevant in our period of history when the practice of hospitality, justice-making, and community are desperately needed. That's why we need to share not just the story of destruction, but also of the step-by-step creation of Wellspring House, a story of joy and wonder and luck and labor. Thank you.